Steve, just how useful and important was the win in midweek against Tranmere?
Yeah, I think both wins. I think, you know, when we said it was a big week for us coming up in the space of what we thought would be a week of football between Lincoln and obviously Blackpool and of course Tranmere. So it was going to be a big week. So we can't do nothing when Big Dara steps in. I don't mean Dara McCann, by the way. So when Big Dara steps in, it changed things. But it was a good win against Lincoln, and I think it was important to make progress in the tournament, and we've done that. So we're looking forward to seeing who that pits us against. But our focus, quite rightfully at the minute, is Northampton.
Was it frustrating to have the win and then not have the game on Saturday?
Yeah, very. I think in spells at the Lincoln game we could have been better, but there was much improved in several departments. And we've always said it's a bit little steps, but there were some big steps against Lincoln, and we were looking forward to Blackpool. We knew it'd be tough. You know, any team that comes up against a Steve Bruce team knows it's going to be tough, so we knew it'd be tough. But I really thought we could go there and plant ourselves on the game and build on that positivity. And, you know, we had to then take it back, and the disruption caused no more so than to our fans. I think it's a disgrace that fans had asked to I think a number of our supporters were actually in Blackpool. Shocking treatment. But through no fault of us or Blackpool Football Club, it was allowed to happen. But we come back and then we try and make a deal with, and they've got a lot of players that's played a lot of football in League One when we broke their team down. So it was good to have a lot of command in the game. Apart from a couple of sloppy moments, it's a comfortable progress to the next round.
Were you generally quite happy with the performance? What did you like about it? And was it just sort of the goals at the end that were frustrating?
Yeah, the goals at the end were very frustrating. I think they're highly preventable. I think we can do better to block shots, to block runs, to be more effective in that area. I think the first one is the goalkeeper's not really got much of a chance, really. He's wrong footed. I think the second one Cameron would accept they should deal with. But it's a long 97th, 98th minute and you're 2 goals in front or 3-1 in front. You can perhaps accept that to a degree, but you can remind him of what the standards should be. But there was a lot of purposeful play. We kept the ball well, we moved it well, we went forward with a lot more penetration. We could have scored a few more goals, should have done. And brilliant execution of set plays, which is we've not been doing the early part of the season. It just shows you the benefits of being able to get onto the training ground. If you get onto the training ground, we can work on things that when you go on Saturday, Tuesday, or been travelling, you have a lot less time in which to cram your work into. So some things have to take more priority. But as we know, set plays in Leagues 1 and 2 have a large bearing in the outcome of games.
We've had a chat with Jonson Clarke-Harris today. How good is it to have him back amongst the goals the other night as well? And is he somebody now that he's back to fitness that could really supercharge your season?
Yeah, John's fitness is improving every day, which is good. It's his sharpness that we need to keep working on and developing. And you know, the facts remain. One thing about Jonson Clarke-Harris, he'll score goals. If you make chances, he'll score goals. Is he a threat? Does he command? It takes 2 and 3 players to mark him, to defend him. I look back to some of the video evidence of the Lincoln game when someone from higher up the football pyramid, championship manager, watched us that night and said to me the next day that Jonson Clarke-Harris is trying to fight off 2 or 3 defenders every time he gets the ball. So I had a lot of looking back at John's clips of that night, and it was self-evident what happened. So he's a massive character for us. There'll be a massive reason where we finish or how we finish. And we just need to keep Jonson focused and keeping him on the pitch.
Yeah. Is that the key thing? Is it sort of managing him so that he doesn't have any setbacks, so that you can get the most out of him between now and May?
Yeah, for me, Johnson's always been at his best when he's on the grass every day. It's when he has periods where he has to come off it because you have to protect him if he's got a knock or a bruise or a little nigger or something like that. But he's been on the grass for the best part of 2 or 3 weeks now, consistently every day, and from that will come natural sharpness. You know, and come that where you'll get yourself when we say sharpness, it's just a difference of half a yard, half a metre, whatever it is, to get in the position to take the chances. And he's getting there very quickly.
A games like this are a big opportunity at the weekend. I think I'm right in saying if you beat them, you will go above them. It just enables you to start climbing that table, getting back to where you want to be.
You know and I know the table, the 3 points in the table, we've jumped 7 or 8 places. So it's the table is very congested. And so from our point of view, we said before Lincoln, it was 1 game at a time. We had to deal with Lincoln, then we had to deal with Blackpool, which was often. Then Tranmere in a different competition. Now it's Northampton. That'll be Mansfield. But to give ourselves a real good base to go into to go to the Christmas campaign, which starts at Mansfield, then we'd say that 3 points against Northampton would be a huge boost for us, because it would probably, in reality, jump us 4 or 5 places, and would, in reality, take us into the Christmas fixtures, knowing that, you know, 9 points out of that 4 games will bounce us into the top 10.
Yeah. Do you feel good when you sort of look at the players on the training ground? Do you think they're ready? You know, they're ready.
Yeah,
to
it's, you know, our training ground has become a little bit louder. It's become the more characters are speaking now, because winning breeds confidence. We've always said it. Winning breeds team spirit. You know, you can't buy team spirit. You can't buy confidence. So the 2 wins in succession, and particularly the league games as well before that at home, when you're winning, then it breeds confidence. That's the last 3 games that New York we've won.
Apologies to jump into this topic, we're still a couple of weeks to go, but now that we're in mid-December, have you got a good idea of when that window opens, like, we're going to go after him, that's who we want to go on target? Yeah,
we know what we'd like to do. Rob Scott's working on a number of fronts now. I had a good meeting. We were all for the best part of 3 years, 2 or 3 years on Monday. Had a good chat with our chairman. I'm meeting our chairman later today. So we're fairly clear of where we want to go and how we want to do it, but it has to be done in the right way. We can't just keep topping it up and nothing going back at the bottom. So, you know, we'd expect that there'll be 1 or 2 in and 1 or 2 out.
Have you spoken to a couple of players maybe and said, look, we're going to try and move you in January? Have you had those conversations yet?
Yeah, of course.
And because you're working with a squad, do you have to be sensitive with those conversations? Because you might need those players between now and January.
Yeah, you may need them, but you have to be honest with players. I think the days are gone when you can't be honest. But I think the professionalism in young men today is very high. So I think you can say this was where we probably see January, where we may say you're surplus to us and we're going to move you on. But in between times, we're going to treat you as if we treat anyone else, as if we treat you as our star striker or star goalkeeper, or whatever it is, you'll be treated properly. And so I think then they also have a reason to really be performing at the top of the game, don't they? Because it may not be the right for us, but they'll be bang right for somebody else's model. That's just, football's all about opinions and subjectiveness. And so we just have to be honest with players. We don't need players walking about second guessing.
Is that as important as anything? You know, getting the squad to a place where you want it to be, because you're still building, aren't you? You've only been here a few months. You know, sometimes it can be, I suppose, addition by subtraction.
Well, it gets forgotten about, isn't it? I seen a brilliant interview by a fellow manager of mine, Nathan Jones, talking about how difficult it is at Charlton, and said if he wanted a cushy number, he'd still be on his his jet ski or whatever it is down the pool. He'd still be down.
Jet ski? Have you ever fancied one?
No, I'm not a jet ski man, as you can imagine. Maybe a tough jet ski. But you know, I think the ones that I read in that was if he wanted a cushy number, he wouldn't have chosen Charlton, who'd were in a similar position to the Millers in the league below. So you know, the words just resonated with me as to how tough our challenge is, and to turn that in one window and deal with 2 years of abject failure, which is what it was. But those 2 years are gone now. We can't keep referencing the 2 years. In fact, we're 3-4 months into our tenure, so we are, in my opinion, trading below where we need to trade, and we've got a lot of making up to do, but we've got the men in the building to do that, and we'll add 1 or 2 that will help us.
Finally, Steve, it's that time of the year where the players, and I imagine the staff as well, are going to be spending some time with hospices and visiting people. How important is that for a football club to give a bit back at a time like this?
Yeah, massively. You know, we're at Bluebell and Rotherham hospices respectively today, and so we should be. You know, we shouldn't forget that that whilst our whole world centres around football, there's other people's centres around situations that are just, one wonders if there's a God up there at all when you see some of the situations. But a lot of things matter. You know, I went to my little grandson, 3-year-old grandson's first nativity play the other day, and when he runs up afterwards and gives you a cuddle. Not everyone wants to cuddle the manager when you're winning games, but your grandson doesn't care whether you win or lost, as long as you're kind to him. And so we will go there respectively to the Bluebell Rotherham hospices and show our appreciation for people who are going through real tough times. That's when people talk about bravery and people talk about character and people talk about strength. my heart and soul and thoughts goes out to every one of those kids and parents.
Just a final question on the fact that, you were able to go to that nativity. Do you need moments like that? Football's just so full on, isn't it? Having that bit of time to take a step back and watch your grandson in the nativity, is that important for you?
Oh, massive. He got his lines right. Every time he said a line, I got a big thumbs up. His mum and dad sat next to us, I get nothing. I just think the moments at the end when he comes up and gives you a hug and thank you for coming, puppy, and it teaches to you so proud of him. There are times that are unique in football life because you don't always get the opportunity to go and watch your grandson, because as other managers will tell you more than me, or their own children if they're younger than me, where they're absorbed in having to go to work. I was fortunate it was on a day off.
Thanks, Steve.
You talked about the training ground being allowed in place. Everyone knows you're an allowed manager on the touchline. What are you like during the week here? Are you like?
I'm probably one of the quiet ones, believe it or not, because I'm intermingling with different departments, from the serious side with the doctors in and the medical side, and then we go through to the nutrition side, and all that stuff is a lot less. But I love to sit in my office and hear voices, because when you hear voices and the boys, you see it when you come through the canteen area yourself, you hear the boys and you hear the loudness of it and you hear the brashness of it and the banter. It tells you something, to see the boy Wilkes just appear in my office before I come and see you guys with the daftest hat I've ever seen, the absolute daftest hat, and they said, what do you make of this gaffer? Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, really? But it's amazing that, when you win a football matches, that's team spirit. I hear it at the top level. I'm hearing today Pep Guardiola's lost the dressing room. I wish I'd lost mine for the last 8 years with success he's had. You know what I mean? So it's winning games brings positivity and confidence, and performances do. But you'd be amazing. You win 2 or 3 games, players will take an extra touch, players will execute the pass better. You've seen it. Every team you've watched, you see it. So from that point of view, the boys have been in a good place. We'll need to be in a good place tomorrow.
Johnson, how good is it to be back, healthy, back on the pitch and back amongst the goals?
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's been a long time coming. I'm sitting here again saying he's coming back from injury, but now I'm feeling really good. Happy that we just got the 2 wins as well, and looking forward to the next game.
Has that been the most important thing, really, just for the team to get some wins? Doesn't really matter how they come, but just to get some wins on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. As you could probably see, it's been a bit low in camp, and this is what happens when you put a few wins together. The mood's instantly lifted, and the boys are full of confidence of going into the game tomorrow.
How frustrating is it for you? You're the captain, you want to be out there, you want to be leading, you want to be scoring, to have another setback and then to sort of have to wait and get healthy again? Yeah,
it's really disappointing, but as I've been in the stands the last couple of weeks, it seems a lot easier in the stands playing than what it actually is playing. I've had a different point of view of what it looks like from up top, and I just couldn't wait to get back in.
Can you give us an example of that? Because it's very easy for media, for fans, to sort of think, why hasn't that player made that run? Why hasn't that player pressed there? Why haven't they scored that goal? So what is it like sort of when you're on the pitch and then you get a chance to sort of take a step back and watch from the stand? Obviously,
you've got so much more time when you're in the stands. You can think a bit more, but when you're on the pitch, it's like you've literally got 1 second, 2 seconds, but you actually have a lot more time than what you actually think. But we all do it. We all do it when we're watching Premier League players and other players. Like, why have you not took an extra touch? Because you don't think you actually can. That's one of the things that I notice quite a lot.
On the pitch, do you ever sort of, well, not that you do ever, but do you often think, if I just had that split second there, that could have happened and I could have done this instead?
Absolutely. With the games that I've been watching, some of the chances that have been missed, I could have done better, this, that and the other, but I fully back my teammates to tuck them on another day, or to defend the chances against us on another day. So yeah.
Does it feel like a really important Christmas period coming up, if you call it Christmas from now on to the end of the year, to give yourselves the kind of chance to go into 2025 in a place where you think, yeah, do you know what, we can have a go at this?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, this sets us up for the new year. you know, and the good thing about it is the games are coming really quick. So, you know, win, lose or draw, you don't really have any time to sit and think. It's process, bang straight into the next game, and you know, that's the good thing about it for the Christmas period. And you know, a couple of wins can, you know, really pushes up the league.
The manager's talked about not having key players being a big reason why the team is where it is in the table. He's often cited yourself and others. Is that really the main thing from your point of view? Is it just that the key players haven't been available to the team to enable you to have the success?
Well, if you think about the players that the boss has signed, you know, how many days have we all been available for him? You know, on one match day, I think it was only, you know, last week, this week, he's had a select of, you know, all 24 members of the club in, you know, to pick from. So, you know, that does come into consideration as well. But at the same time, the players who he picks and selects for a game have to go out there and do the job at the same time, regardless of what the team is or regardless of who's out, who's fit, who's not.
How do you lead as a captain? What do you like in a dressing room? What do you like day to day? What's your style?
Listen, I'm an easygoing person. Just come in, get your work done, do what the boss says, and then go about your business. You know, as long as you put in the effort in here and you put in the effort in on Saturday, that's it. You know, we've got high standards here in the changing room as well. You know, we've got a tight knit group of boys. You know, who all get along with each other, and we all want to do the best for each other. So the changing room actually controls itself. But it's nice to, you know, add a bit of authority onto everything.
And if you've got a tight knit group, does that mean that if you do get a bit of momentum and the results start to come, that it actually could turn into something quite good because you're already quite close?
Yeah, listen, that's the plan. You know, I've said this throughout my career. You only really remember players that you've had success with. You understand? So I've got a couple of friends who I've had success with, and you know, I still speak to now, and they're going to be my lifelong friends. You know. When you're in the doom and gloom and you've had relegations with players and it's not been going so well with players, you know, you tend to go the opposite way. But that's just life. That's in every job. So, you know, you only remember the ones you have success with.
Chances of a goal this weekend?
Listen, last time I said that I was out with an hamstring, so you know, I don't want any of that. Just the 3 points would do me nicely.
Thanks, pal.
Thank you.